Hey everyone, let's discuss. uh, I think the real reason why a lot of okay, the real reason why black people are dying as much as they are is one, we're killing each other. We're our own worst enemy. Um, but also, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So it's a double whammy. We may be killing each other, but why did it start that way? I can say it plain and simple without beating around the bush. We have lost family values, specifically having a father in the home. We don't teach our kids what it means to be a man for a man, and what a woman it means to be a woman. And each role is so important that one muddling the lines does no one good, because what that shows is that there's something that I'm supposed to be doing. The world is telling me that this is actually what you're supposed to do to accomplish that feeling, and you're always left empty every single time. Right? So the suicide the suicide rate, we'll just say it, for transgender people is pretty high. Last time I heard it was 40%. I don't know what it is now. And the reason why it's so high is because they thought, and it's not because of, because we're becoming more accepting, right? The suicide rate is increasing because people have thought that they're changing their outer appearance is going to make them change on the inside. It's going to make them think of themselves the way that they should, and that's not the case, right? So the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and in the end it will not depart from him. Speaking in masculine, but regardless, men, women, train up your kids to be moral, civilized human beings. But because we don't respect the family structure, and kids are not learning what authority looks like, what boundaries look like, that there's nothing wrong with boundaries, right? Boundaries give you the freedom to explore in safety, right? To explore this dangerous world in safety, so that you won't step across the bounds thinking that there's a better, bigger way, when all the road signs are telling you that leads to destruction. Take drugs, for example, right? Those are there to promise a life of, I don't know how to express it, a life of, what do drugs do, right? I don't take drugs, so I have no idea. They're ecstasy, right? They're there to promote ecstasy, promote a change of feeling, but we know it's temporary, right? So you always need to keep adding to it. So if you train kids and say, hey, that bound is there because though this for a time may satisfy you, it will destroy you in the long run. That's another one. Delayed gratification. We need to teach ourselves, and I'm speaking for myself, and also our kids, that gratification should not be this instantaneous novelty for everything, right? Sometimes, yes. The gratification of you stepping on the gas and then your car moving forward, instead of you stepping on the gas and nothing happens, right? That will trigger anyone. So I'm talking about, okay, I can decide to spend this $20 right now on all of this candy, or I can decide to invest it. I can decide to spend this $200 on these shoes, or I can then decide to invest it. and something more meaningful, something that will last and satisfy or someone else, right? So that's what we're missing. We have a breakdown of the family structure. If we do not respect our fathers, and our fathers are not doing things that are respectable either, in terms of having kids left and right and center, and relying on the government to take care of our kids, men not knowing what it looks like to be led, women not knowing what it looks like, what it feels like to be loved for who they are, not for their bodies. So we begin to perpetuate this very destructive mindset, and it just all falls to the wayside. And at the end of it all, you just have to sit there and blame someone, but it can't be you, right? Because you are the product of your environment. I want to challenge that idea simply because there are so many people that have come out of some very tough stuff, but you would never have known that they went through that stuff because they don't let it be known in the sense of pity me, right? One. But also their goal, the wise ones, is to share their experience so that people cannot go through the same thing. You know, Paul in the Bible says God comforts us so that we will in turn comfort those who are God comforts us so that we in turn will comfort others with the same comfort that He has comforted us with. And it's so important because that's how God has orchestrated our relations with each other. God's a very relational God. So the comfort we have, we comfort others with. And hopefully they get comforted by it. Because I know a lot of people that will refuse that comfort. Because again, you want to wallow in your own self-pity. And that gets you nowhere. So that's what's really causing the Black community to suffer. No authority structures, no boundary honoring, and no one's instilling life into our kids, and even our adults, actually. Yeah. So hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from, and it gets you thinking. Right? If you're a Black person, what can I do? Right? What should I be doing to better my own life and not have to rely on anyone else? Because I know my friend, he moved and he struggled personally, but he understands this because it's the choices that he's made. Things were done to him, yes, but he's gotten to that point where he's like, okay, let me forge some path for myself so that I am not left like this forever. And that's what we need, is to take our own destinies into our own hands. But ultimately, if you want the better result, give your destiny over to God and say, God, what would you have me do? And trust me, He will let you know. Because Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Hope for now, and hope for tomorrow. That must be a band name, I know it. But hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, if you have any questions, let's discuss.